Behold, he shall come up as clouds, and his chariots shall be as a whirlwind. His horses are swifter than eagles. Woe unto us, for we are spoiled. Okay, Shalom. First and foremost, Kahalal, Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai. Double honors to the elders, the apostles of GMS, teaching us this truth. And Shalom to all the sincere Akyam, pushing his word in sincerity and truth. Okay, yeah, man, the scripture that I just read was Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 13. Let me read it again. Behold, he shall come up as clouds, and his chariots shall be as a whirlwind. His horses are swifter than eagles. Woe unto us, for we are spoiled. Today's topic is gonna be the so-called UFOs are the chariots of the Most High. So when you read this scripture, you see something strange. You know, how can a whirlwind be a chariot and swifter than eagles? What's that talking about? What do you think that's talking about? Now that's talking about the so-called UFOs. If you picture a so-called UFO in your mind, I'm gonna show you pictures of so-called UFOs, chariots of the Most High, but if you picture it in your mind how Hollywood shows it to you, then you see it has a disc, a shape of a disc. Now what's also, you see the movement I'm doing with my mouse? That's a whirlwind, man. I got a picture right here. You see, this is a whirlwind, man. It got the same shape as how they show you the so-called UFOs. So the scripture says, behold, he shall come up as clouds, and his chariots shall be as a whirlwind. His chariots, his vehicles shall be as a whirlwind, you know. His horses, so that shows you again that is transportation. That it's transportation. Are swifter than eagles. Now you know how an eagle flies, right? He flies swift. He make the sharp turns and stuff. Well, the chariots are even faster than that, man. And you also see when they are investigating a so-called UFO sighting, that they say like, yeah, it couldn't be a plane or a military jet because it was flying swiftly, you know. It went from one corner to another corner. Boom, it went like this, you know. No vehicle or plane or anything that the so-called white man has made can fly like that. So his horses were swifter than eagles. Woe unto us, for we are spoiled. You know, destruction. Because a thing that these chariots come to do, these so-called UFOs, is bring destruction. It's bringing destruction on this fucking wicked society that we live in, man. Behold, this is Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 23. Behold, the whirlwind of the Most High, the whirlwind of Yahweh, goeth forth with fury, a continuing whirlwind. It shall fall with pain upon the head of the wicked. So here, because of this last scripture, you know, it's talking about these chariots, you know. So you can't picture this as a real whirlwind, you know, because it's actually the chariot of the Most High, the so-called UFOs. Behold, the whirlwind of the Most High Yahweh goeth forth with fury. How? Yeah. A whirlwind goeth forth like fury. So it brings forth a destruction. That's also another reason why it's described as a whirlwind. When those chariots come, when those so-called UFOs come, they're gonna bring destruction, man. The fierce anger of Yahweh shall not return until we have done it, and until he have performed the intents of his heart. In the latter days ye shall consider it. At the end of the day, when judgment come, and the skies are gonna be filled with these chariots, then people are gonna consider that, hey, the Most High of Israel, Yahweh, that's the true God, man. And they will consider that we, the teachers of GMS and some other camps, we're talking about it all the time. So yeah, man, the whirlwind. Show you again. It cometh with the clouds like a whirlwind. Its shape is like a whirlwind, and he has the same destructive power as a whirlwind. Next scripture. Okay, this is Ezekiel. When Ezekiel was doing the work, he had the Most High came unto him. So when I'm gonna start at verse 3. This is Ezekiel chapter 1 verse 3. The word of Yahweh came expressly unto Ezekiel the priest, the son of Buzi, in the land of the Chaldeans, by the river Chebar, and the hand of Yahweh was there upon him. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and fire enfolding itself, a bright light. He described it as fire because the only thing that was giving light in that time was fire, man. So if it were light dots or he describes it as fire because it was given light, and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness, he calls it a brightness, was about it, and out the midst thereof was a color of amber, out the midst of the fire. So here he is really describing these vehicles of the Most High, man. But a brightness came about it, like he describes it, man. Let me fix this so you can add it next to the description. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud. Because how, if you live in that time, how are you gonna describe this, man? In that time, they didn't say unidentified flying object. They wouldn't call it a UFO. That's a term that the so-called white man came with, man. So he's calling it a strange cloud because the only things that were in the sky in that time were clouds, man. Nothing else. He didn't see planes and stuff. Next to the clouds, there were these chariots of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof as the color of amber. Here you see it's like blue, white, something like that, but it was actually amber, man. It was actually like this. So this color, this is amber. This color came out of the midst, and you know how Hollywood describes so-called UFOs, man. Always with that brightness out of the midst of the so-called UFO, and always with the bright shining around the so-called UFO, So that was the color of amber out of the midst of the fire. Now, who are in those so-called UFOs, the chariots of the Most High? Out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures, and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man. They had the likeness of a man. Now, what kind of man is it talking about here? If you read on, you're gonna see it had more faces. the angels of the Most High come in all different kinds, man. You know, they come in all kinds of forms. People, their soul will leave their body if they see the angels of the Most High, man. You know, so the chariots of the Most High are the vehicles of the angels, man, and Yahweh Shai. So let me read it. Also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of four living creatures, and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man, and every one had four faces, and every one had four wings, and their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot, and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass. Burnt brass is 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 like the medal of the Olympics, you know. That's brass. So burnished brass is also how they describe Yahushai. This is Yahushai. You know, burnt brass is just a dark shade of brown. Because if you read Revelation 1 and 13, you're gonna 1 and 14, I think it is. You're gonna read like his feet were burned like brass, you know. His feet were like unto fine brass, as if it were burned in an oven. That's, you know, how it says it. So the angels also have this color, man, because it said, and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass. Now I want you to look at this clip real quick, man. This is a guy, Dr. Norman Berggren. He was working for the NACA, and it was allied with NASA. You know, they were working together. He was in a he had some kind of function there. And listen good to what he has to say, man. Oh, yeah, I forgot this man talks really soft. So let me get something so you can hear it good. Yeah, so I went to get a speaker, you know. So if you listen good, he's gonna tell you something, man, that he has seen while he was working for NASA.
They have a picture there of
So they are talking about yeah, just listen, man.
And they have a picture there of I think it was but anyway,
Black. Gone. So you know, this man has seen something, man, and he's revealing it in this clip. He's saying like, I saw a picture and I saw the UFO and people came out of it and they were She says what? So they were dark skinned. He was saying like dark skin. They were black, man. They were black. Listen again.
So people with dark skin getting off. Black skin.
Let's say 7 feet. So the man says, let's say 7 feet, man. Hey, I'm gonna put this link in the description of my of this video. So here he explains you, hey, dark-skinned people entered out of the chariots, man, and he worked for NASA. Hey, so that already shows you, man. They know, they seen, and they try to cover it up for the world, but they already know that the so-called UFOs got dark-skinned men in them, the angels. Because if anyone knows this Bible, it is the elites, man. They know the Bible, man. So they know who are the angels, what color the Most High has, and what color His Son has, Yahushai. But the only thing they busy with is deceiving the world, deceiving the people. So and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass, and they had the hands of a man under their wing and on their four sides, and they four had their faces and their wings. So let me see. It's just explaining the how the angels look like. I'm gonna go straight for the chariots. Um, okay, so verse 14. And the living creatures ran and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning. So the way they move, it's like, hey, you can't imagine how fast they are, man. And that's also a thing that the prophets of the Most High are gonna get. They're gonna move like flash, man. They're gonna move like lightning, fast, as fast as light moves, man. Because the scripture says they shall run and not be weary, they shall walk and not faint. Verse 15. Now, as I beheld the living creatures, behold, a wheel upon the earth by the living creatures with its four faces. And the appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of beryl. The appearance of the wheels, man. The appearance, the appearance, so Slakia, the appearance of the wheels. So now he describes it as wheels. You know, the color of beryl, and they four had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were. Their appearance and their work was as it was a wheel within a wheel. Hey, that's plain and simple, man. If you read this, you only thing that pops in your mind is a fucking UFO, man. A so-called UFO, because they really are the chariots of the Most High, man. And they gonna bring wrath upon this world, man, for sure. He will, the Most High's word will not tarry. So with the color of beryl, I'm going into that later. Uh, yeah, man. So as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. Verse 17. When they went upon their four sides, and they turned not when they went. So these creatures, these angels flew away together with the chariots, with the so-called UFOs. Um, yeah, man. So now, if you talk about like uh, when Yahushua was stood up out of his grave, and then he went to talk to his disciples, and then he also returned unto the Most High. But how? You know, if you never knew about these chariots that they were in the Bible, that these so-called UFOs were in the Bible, I'm sure you never pictured how Yahushua went into the sky, man. So this is 2 Kings chapter 2 verse 11. This is talking about Elijah, you know. And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, meaning vehicles of fire, and parted them both as under. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. So the thing that happened, man, they beamed him up. They beamed him up, man. You know when you see that beam and you just go, you ascend into heaven, into a whirlwind, into a wheel within a wheel, with fire enfolding itself, and the brightness was about it. You know, hey, the scripture is plain and simple, man. So Elijah was beamed up, man. Elijah was beamed up, and Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. And he saw him no more. And he took hold of his own clothes and rent them into two pieces. No, he was heartbroken, but hey, Elijah went in the chariot with the Most High, with the angels, with Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. If you see that in that time, hey, you must be amazed, man. You must be really, really amazed. So yeah, then you got this song that we was singing in the time of slavery, you know, and that's actually a beautiful song, man. So hey, this song touches me every time I hear it, man. This is a song that we used to sing in the time of slavery. Hey, and hey, that's powerful, man, because in that time we already know the chariots of the Most High are so-called UFOs, and we were in this punishment of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, and we asked for redemption, man. We was singing every day we worked in the slave plantations, and asked for the chariots, the so-called UFOs, to come and carry us home, to come and carry us home. Home where? Home where? The Jordan, man. And where is the Jordan? The Jordan, let me show you real quick, man, for people who don't know where the Jordan is. This is where the Jordan is, man. River Jordan, Israel, where we come from, man. I can't say it. I can say it 1,000 times, man, but it's according to the Most High if you can receive it, man. But in the slave time, we was singing for those chariots, the so-called UFOs, to carry us home, man, to the Jordan, the river, to Israel, the land where we came from, man. Hey, it's a beautiful song, man. Let me let me play it again. You know, give you a little bit of slideshows, man. A band of angels coming to carry me home. A band of angels. In that time we already knew that the angels was in those chariots, in those so-called UFOs. We knew it, man. And that's powerful, man. Because this song already shows you how fucking lost our people is. The people of the nation of Israel, man. How fucking lost they are, man. You know? I got two scriptures left. Like Elijah, also Yahushua went up in the heavens, man. And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. And while they looked steadfastly toward the heaven as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel. So he went up in a cloud, man, and received him out of their sight. So as soon as he entered in the chariot, the chariot flew away, man. The chariot flew away, and yeah, man, it's powerful, man. The chariot flew away, but the thing I want to say is that these so-called white men, they know, man. They know damn well that uh, that the dark-skinned men are the angels, and that they are um, in the chariots, man, and the so-called UFOs. Now, I'm gonna show you some schemes that they made up, man. Some schemes because they use this scripture. Now, this scripture says, "His body." This is Daniel chapter 10, verse 6. "His body also was like the beryl, and his face as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as a lamps on fire, and his arms and his feet like in color to polished brass, dark skin, and the voice of his words like the voice of a multitude." So this is a description of Yahushua again, and this is what they use, man. His body as also was like the beryl. So what they like to do is they like to switch it up, man, because all the things they got from movies, man, everything they put in movies they got from the scriptures, man. So it says his body was like a beryl. Now this is beryl, so you can see it's green, man, but it wasn't talking about his skin. It was talking about his garment, man, because his garment was this color, and that's why the people who made this picture of Yahushua, his his true image, like the Bible describes him. He wears a garment like the color of beryl, because if you read on, it says, "And his arms and his feet like the color of polished brass," and you know, so that's talking about his skin tone, man. That's talking about the skin tone. Now, how does they flip those things? They know that the chariots are filled with dark skinned men, but now what did they do? They made fucking, they made this, man. So like the color of beryl, green, they make a green so-called alien with a big head. Now what's the reason of this big head, man? Think about it. They seen dark-skinned men come out of the chariots and they saw a silhouette. And this is that silhouette. If you would look from the front, you would see a big head, man, a big head. And the scriptures say his body was like the burial. Hey, they are simple-minded people, man. So now they say the aliens, the creatures that are in the so-called UFOs look like this. Simple-minded motherfuckers, man. Hey, fucking Edomites, fucking crackers. So final scripture. Mark chapter 13, verse 26. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the clouds, coming in the chariots, coming in the so-called UFOs with a great power and glory. And then shall he send angels and shall gather together the elect from the four winds, from the uttermost part of the earth to the uttermost part of heaven. The elect is gonna be beamed up like Elijah and Yahushua, man. And it's gonna be beautiful. Man, it's gonna be beautiful, man. Every nation is gonna fight against the Most High. And they might be with a big army, man, but the elect is gonna have a support of a legion of angels. A legion of angels. And we're gonna destroy this fucking wicked place, man. We're gonna destroy it utterly. So with that, I'm gonna say shalom. And I got this last video you can check out. It's from the brother from Great Millstone Northwest. And he did a video about the chariots also. So I'm gonna show you a short piece, and then I'll see you in the next lesson. Shalom.